I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 472 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, July 4th, 2025. You're truly the Fairies, but I'm here ready to record another podcast as we're on the road to episode 500 of the podcast at Hoots. You can follow me on X if you like at the Hoots Podcast. Instagram is at Joshie Lopez Music. Please do us a quick favor if you are checking this out for the first time on YouTube. Make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so I do appreciate each and every single one of you who take your time out of your day to come out here and listen to what I have to say about wrestling and life and all that jazz. And we've been doing this show now for over 9 years, and we're getting very close to the end here, but even though we have 28 episodes left, I do appreciate each and every single one of you who continue to support this podcast. And I see the numbers, and these are going very good for the podcast account. Money-wise, we've got over $700 in the account as of this week. I looked the other day, so that was really nice to see, and it's very rewarding, but also kind of sad in a way, you know, like nobody ever wants to really accept closure in a way, but if we're going out, why not go out strong? So I'm glad to see that the show's finally making money again, and that's really humbling to see. But all in all, at the end of the day, as I get ready to close this chapter in my life, I want to just enjoy doing this podcast for you guys. It's really not all about the money at the end of the day. I want to keep doing this and make these shows stand out from each for the rest, and that's what I'm going to try to do. But we got a lot to discuss this week. We had Night of Champions that just took place this last Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This week I really wanted to hit on a lot of stuff going into Evolution and stuff like that with NXT. So we'll do that this week in WWE. So I will review what happened at Night of Champions as well. But also don't forget we got your questions from the Back Porch Q&A session as well. Our new home for the Hoots Podcast, our domain home is Odyssey Creator Lab. So you can get the podcast anywhere you want. You can just literally type in the Hoots Podcast. It'll pop up free and charge for you. We drop these episodes each and every single Friday to get your weekend started. I know today's the 4th of July, so happy 4th to everybody who chooses to celebrate it. To me, especially where we are in society these days, the 4th of July has become just another day for me. Like, I'm working tonight, and I'm covering SmackDown, if you ask my honest opinion about my patriotism, or whatever the term you want to use, it's not there today. And it's not just because Donald Trump is our president. I already know that we're rerunning a 3-ring circus vanity show project, and it's it's past the point of like complaining about it, because people made these decisions to put people that don't deserve to be in the first place, and that's how this country rolls. But all the other nonsense and unfortunate things I keep seeing in how this country in particular continues to act is something that I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, USA. Like, I don't know what's to celebrate today. Oh great, we're going to shoot fireworks for God knows how many hours and eat food. It's just another day. So I'm indifferent towards the 4th of July. I have been for a long while. It's not something new just because Donald Trump's the president. So, hey, one thing about this show is I hold no punches. I really don't care. This country is a shithole as it is, so it is what it is. But on a positive note, like I mentioned earlier, I'm really happy with the progress with a lot of things that have been going on right now. Like, I feel my body definitely feels progress, especially with the new ways I've been going about my walks. I still do my walks each and every single day. Now, as opposed to doing them inside, as I was doing it in the beginning stage of my wellness house, now I am walking outside for at least over an hour or 20 minutes, or at least 90 minutes each day, and it catches up to you, man. It can some days wear you out, especially now this summertime, and it's really hot out there. It gets the best of you, but I'm making the best of it. I do it each and every single day. I do notice progress, and I think that's the biggest thing, whenever you're trying to cut down on weight or whatever situation it is. Like, it's a process. Things are not going to happen overnight, and I can look into quick fixes and doing Ozempic and all that other stuff, but I wanted to hold myself accountable and do this stuff on my own, and I've already lost over 100 pounds in the last two and a half years. So I'm proud of the progress that I've made, and we'll see where the rest of this goes. Things are going good with the articles as well. It's very cool when you can see like your pieces like rank high with like outlets like CBS and Forbes each day. Like, I think part of this, with my experience of noticing what to do when it comes to this tournament. For those who are writers, they know this, especially those who use WordPress. There's this thing called SEO, and what it is basically is a data mechanism thing that you have to use in order to make sure that your article stands out or ranks high amongst other people that are doing your work at the same time, basically. So if you have a green SEO score, that means you're doing a good job. If you have an orange SEO score, the article is good, but it's not going to rank as high. And you have to be very careful about how you go about formatting your outlines and what you put in the descriptions and the SEO and the titles. And there's a lot that goes into these pieces, folks, that me just cut it out and, hey, let me go on WordPress and type out a bunch of sequences and promos. There's a lot that goes into these pieces, and I've been doing this stuff now for 10 years, and I got a good rhythm and flow when it comes to making these transcripts, and I hope they stand out. Usually I don't get a lot of feedback from my people as far as what they think about the transcripts itself. I do appreciate the feedback that I get about the podcast. It does mean a lot to me, but I do put a lot of time and thought into these pieces, and it would have been nice to, hear some feedback as far as how the transcripts are. But really all I can gauge on my success or lack thereof when it comes to the pieces is to see where they rank on Google or Yahoo the night that I post them. So usually I just put, like, for example, like I did Evolve, right? Evolve to show that they have on Tubi each week. So I'll put WWE Evolve. That was Wednesday, so that was the 2nd. So I put like WWE Evolve results 7/2/25, and then bam, it's right there at the top. And again, a lot of it does go to my experience using SEO, but I also think it's the articles itself. The articles, SEO is a cheat tool in a way, but it's also on you to make sure that the quality of the content that you're writing amongst your article fits what you are describing in your SEO thingy. And I have prided myself to make sure that these pieces stand out, and I'm not going to come here and be like, oh, I'm Ernest Hemingway or any prolific writer or anything like that. I've been doing stuff for over a decade. I feel like I'm good at describing wrestling matches and reciting promos and doing like a literal transcript. I'm good at that stuff. But it's a journey, and I'm sure that I make mistakes, and even when I'm doing the articles live, like there's times where I'll flub, let me bring you a little bit like behind the fourth wall of like my work, right? So there's times where like I have WordPress open, obviously, as the show's going live, because that's where I need to put my pieces, but let's say if I'm covering a match, I'm writing out the match portion of that match on this messenger box thing that Gmail offers. It helps me out visually in a way I want to map out like the wrestling portion of it. So it's a visual thing for me. So I'll take what I wrote from Gmail and put it into the WordPress part, so I could visually see what I wrote down better. And also it helps me pinpoint what I need to separate the parts of the match from. Sometimes you notice if you read an article of mine, there's some matches that have either 3 or 4 paragraphs attached to it. Let's say if it was a PLE, right? There's probably going to be a time where you see a match that I wrote down that has 3 to 4 paragraphs. Hell, there's times when I was doing New Japan shows, and I had matches that had 7 paragraphs attached to them, like Shingo Takagi, Will Ospreay matches, or Okada and Ibushi, some of those G1 finals matches. God, man, I think one of those Okada Omega matches that I did had 9 paragraphs, because sometimes if matches are going over 30, 45, almost an hour, you're guaranteed to at least get 5 or 6 paragraphs out of it. But yeah, I still think today the longest match that I still have transcribed has been that Omega and Okada match from Dominion, the one that went almost 90 minutes. That's still probably the longest match that I've ever transcribed. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into these pieces, and I just want to bring you behind the scenes of what I do, and there's a lot of pressure because I want to be on time with it. The people at Wrestling Headlines don't really give me a deadline per se when it comes to the pieces, but I post the show 30 minutes before each broadcast because we allow our readers to hop on there and get to commentate on the show amongst themselves and their friends in the chat box as the show goes on. And that's no different from any other wrestling website that I've worked on in the past. They had the same thing at Wrestling Inc. and WrestleZone when I was there as well. So there's a lot that goes into this stuff, right? And I'm not technically on the deadline, but I want to make sure that I'm, try my best to update people as fast as I can with the pieces. And some of them, they take a while, especially on Raw, if there's a show that starts off with a 20-minute promo segment, it's probably going to take me about 30 minutes to type it out. I take my time with these pieces, and I'm glad in a lot of ways that I can use the fast forward option to help me get fast to the live aspect of the broadcast. But there's times where, there'll probably be a time where a Raw is off the air and I'm still on the main event, But I pride myself to make sure that I leave no stone unturned with the transcripts, and I'm putting every single detail that I can into these pieces. And a lot of these other places copy and paste each other, and they're gesticulating about their booking takes and all this stuff, and I'm like, people want to know what happened on the show. I'm like, bam, 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 there you go. There's a lot of detail, but I leave no stone unturned. And it's really unfortunate because I look at what I write down and then the shit that I see on X when it comes to people trying to break down the show, and you're like, I can tell who watches the show and who doesn't watch the show. And it's not hard in 2025 to pinpoint the people that have agendas towards WWE these days, and they don't even hide it at this point. So it's kind of hard for me to take a lot of people with blue check marks and podcasts seriously, because like some of the shit that comes out of their mouth is so disingenuous and not true to what I'm at. Like when you have someone like myself in my position where I'm literally typing out the entire broadcast from the first second you see that freaking intro to the time it goes off the air, I've watched and written down every single segment of that goddamn show. So it's fresh in my mind. You're not gonna say something that it's gonna go over my head, and people just like say stuff now, and it's like, are you even watching the show? Like, like whenever I see a wrestler like lose a match, like, oh, they got buried, why they made him look like that? What? Oh, Karrion Kross got buried at Night of Champions. No, he didn't. Shut up. He did not get buried. So we'll get to Night of Champions and a lot of stuff as well, because we got Evolution around the corner. We're getting matches announced for that. PLE. Saturday night's main event is cooking up. We got some interesting stuff going on there. NXT Great American Bash is around the corner as well. That'll be going on as All In will be live. So, I will say I would like to see All In. I'm not lying. I would like to see that show myself, but we're calls, and I love NXT, obviously, so I'm always going to support NXT. And they got the Great American Bash, and I think it's going to be a fun show that they're having at center stage. It's going to be no harm, no foul, and it's going to be a good time. But anyways, I just want to bring you a little behind the scenes of what's going on in my life and stuff like that in the beginning here. But anyways, this is episode 472 of the Hoots Podcast. I'm Joshie. When we come back, we'll get to Night of Champions, talk about a little bit from Raw and SmackDown this week, and we'll get into Evolution's card and Great American Bash. Then finally, in our main event segment, we'll get to your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the Hoots Podcast as the road to episode 500 continues. Eat. Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. We're going to take a trip really quick to Busted Open on Sirius XM. Don't forget, congratulations to Dave LaGreca and everybody at Busted Open for launching Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, their new channel, which is channel 156 on Sirius XM, the first ever inaugural all wrestling channel on Sirius XM. I know I've been very, very critical of LaGreca, especially over the past couple of weeks on this podcast, but I have been a Nation member since day one, and it's very cool to see that this has happened now, and that there's literally a channel dedicated only to professional wrestling, and it's long overdue, and Dave and the entire crew at Busted Open deserve a lot of props. So I want to play this clip because Cody Rhodes was recently a guest on Busted Open, and before we get to Night of Champions and all that other jazz, let's hear what Cody had to say on Busted Open this week.
But anyway, I need this from you. I need this guarantee, because I got to tell you, the man that's saying he's ruining wrestling, John Cena, I believe in him. I need you. I'll be there, and so I'll be at MetLife Stadium in the great state of New Jersey in the beginning of August. You got to get that title back. You have to get it back. Because this last, 3-4 months with you not as champion has been difficult for me. So we need to get that championship title back around your waist.
You're making it very personal now. You're making it like...
Hell yeah, it's personal!
I promised to do this for you, Dave.
Well,
I mean, this is all eyes of the wrestling world on MetLife. Cardi B is hosting 2 nights.
I have no idea who that is.
SummerSlam.
We
need to get you out just a hot sheet, a list of people that you cannot be that guy. But yes, SummerSlam. I don't want to go as far as making any promises, but I can tell you the goal with SummerSlam is if people felt a certain way about WrestleMania, I would put that all on my back and take all the credit and responsibility for perhaps not feeling satisfied. I'd like to get him to the finish line with SummerSlam. Very much looking forward to doing this dance again.
I love it. You know you're my favorite. Everybody who listens to the show knows you're my favorite. You got 2 great guys in the car with you, in Ricky Saints and Sean Spears, that I'm big supporters of. And seriously, Cody, like what you've been able to do for the WWE and what you've been able to do for pro wrestling, we're seeing it hit the greatest heights that it's ever hit. And, usually when people talk about that, they talk about the golden era of the 80s or they talk about the Attitude Era. But you ushered in a completely new era that's doing the biggest business we have ever seen. To say that we're getting 2 nights of SummerSlam in a stadium like MetLife is absolutely amazing. I hope you pat yourself on the back because you're a big reason why. And, thank you for everything that you've given to this sport. Thank you.
I can feel Bully Ray getting angry as you're giving me far too much credit for the revolution that has taken over pro wrestling and sports.
No. I actually said on the air before you came back, whenever you came back, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, I was saying to Dave, I said, Dave, they need Cody back. I said, I don't think it's the right time for Cody to come back, but I think they need Cody back much sooner than later. So yes, I put you over, young man.
Well, I very much appreciate it, and as you know, what I'm going to tell you, this has been a large team effort shared across multiple locker rooms and different companies. But if you're looking at WWE right now, and you have Rhea Ripley and you have Jey Uso, you do have for a limited time John Cena, you have CM Punk, you have Roman Reigns. This has been very much a team, and I do like to try and take that quarterback spot when I can and try and get the ball. But this has been very much a team effort, and everything's cooking, everything.
And Cody, I'm not going to tell you what to do. No more of this heel talk, all right? You're a hero. You're a hero to a lot of fans.
You know what? Well, let me. One thing I've noticed about that is it only really exists on X. Is that it's deep, the discussion. It's a deep discussion, and I don't even. Yeah, you never say never in wrestling. There, plenty of people that got the capacity for the light and the dark, but I don't know if we're on that road within the time I have left on my time in wrestling. Who knows, though? As Bully's sitting next to you, you never want to say never.
Listen,
you never want to.
I can't wait until Paul Heyman whispers in your ear for the first time.
No.
I cannot wait.
All right, that was the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, on Busted Open this past week. Again, congrats to Dave and Bully and everybody at Busted Open for launching Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. It's a really cool accomplishment. Anyways, let's talk about this week in programming. I did cover Night of Champions this past Saturday from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. A lot of discourse this week about, is CM Punk a hypocrite? The $1 million question this week. I don't know where we are in 2025 where the wrestling media needs to dictate who's morally correct or whose moral compass is on the right directions and whose moral compass is on the wrong side of the spectrum. Like, Brandon Thurston and John Pollock specifically, the Bald Stooges on Post Wrestling, who think they have everything figured out in life, and they spent nearly an hour and a half on a podcast talking about if CM Punk's a hypocrite for going to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, alright. Well, let's break this down. Because Punk himself apologized to the Saudi Arabia audience in the kickoff event on last Friday. And now I'm seeing reports of, the person that Punk apologized to was a plant. Triple H, this one really popped me. There's an article that was like, Triple H hired a fan in order for CM Punk to apologize to the Saudi fans. And it's stuff like this, and you wonder why people don't take my field seriously. Have your opinions. People have their perspectives of things in life, and then guess what? They change, and they have things that happen in their life that change their perspectives on things. Nobody in this life is 100% clean, perfect. People make mistakes. People say stupid shit. People have wrong first impressions on certain situations and things, and people are allowed to grow. But because Triple H said on a post show that he's proud of CM Punk, this breathes, it smells nothing. This breathes, it smells like a work. And that they're bringing in plans to justify Punk going to Saudi Arabia because it's the worst thing in the world to have wrestling shows in Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is not allowed to have wrestling, right? I know this is controversial for people, and people have their opinions and et cetera, about what's going on out there, but for as long as they've been doing these shows in Saudi Arabia back in 2018 to where we are now in 2025, I've never had an issue with that because as I've been consistent in talking about this for 7 years now on the podcast, no country should not be allowed to have wrestling. No fan should be precluded from having wrestling shows based on what their country does. Because this country is no saint. Especially the United States is no saint. All these other countries around the world do horrible things that are not blasted out to the public news spectrum all the time that we don't hear about. It's not mutually exclusive to the Middle East. So, for all these wrestling fans who, now, this is the realization that I realized in 2025. Wrestling fans are medical experts, they're legal experts, they're film critics, they're music directors, and now they're political commentators. They're the expert of absolutely everything. You hear the slang, right? Jack of all trades, master of none. Well, you could apply that same scenario here with wrestling fans. You think you know everything, but more times than not, you don't know shit. So, see, you can call CM Punk a hypocrite if you want. Yeah, he's had his tweet towards the Miz in 2018, and some of you can't seem to let that go. And he even opened up to himself that was a mistake, and he apologized for that. People are not allowed to grow from the decisions that they make. I think about my journey with this podcast especially. I've said stuff on here that I'm not proud of. I've looked back over the years and realized there's times where I let the IWC get the best out of me over the years, and I had that angst to just fire back every single chance I had. Back when I started the show 10 years ago, I had that venom inside of me. I don't anymore. If anything, I laugh out of pity now. I'm not stressed out or stupid stuff that I see on X each week. what bothers me is that we're allowing people that can't think for themselves and just blur out shit for the sake of likes and retweets. They're doing that only to get clout. And that is now becoming what supposedly the entire wrestling fan base feels about, because, hey, if it's said on X, that means it's the gospel. It's not. And I'm pretty sure the same people who are calling CM Punk a hypocrite, I'm sure they have a clean slate. They did absolutely nothing wrong. They never found themselves in a situation where they carried themselves like a hypocrite. But hey, you can shoot arrows from your keyboard, but can you look yourself in the mirror? I don't know. I thought Night Champions was a good show. I really enjoyed having Cody and Randy for the King of the Ring match. That's definitely going to come back to bite Cody in the ass with the fact that he did defeat Randy Orton here. We all can fantasy book how the rest of the John Cena retirement tour is going to go. But one thing is for certain, I have two feelings coming out of this show on Saturday. Either Cody Rhodes is going to be feuding with Randy Orton for the rest of the year, or at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes is either going to be fighting Randy Orton or CM Punk at WrestleMania for the championship. That is my feeling of where we're heading right now towards Vegas. And would it be prophetic to have CM Punk against Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania in Las Vegas next year? How interesting would that be? Oh, by the way, is Cody Rhodes a hypocrite for going back to WWE when he's the one that founded AEW? I want to throw that question out there since we want to throw out the hypocrite. We want to play the hypocrite game. I don't think Cody's a hypocrite for going back to WWE. He made a smart business decision. I don't know what the personal thing was with him and Tony Khan, nor do I care. That's none of my business. But hey, listen, hey, it's a wrestling podcast. Hey, I have a Twitter account with a blue check mark, so I need to blur out a bunch of random shit that makes absolutely no sense. But hey, there's enough gullible sheep out there that'll hit the like and retweet button to justify my shitty ass opinions each week. I want to give a shout out to Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley for their street fight. I thought that was a very good match. Cross and Sammy was a very physical match, so shout out to those guys. Jade Cargill and Asuka, I wish there was more time attached to it. I did like the physicality amongst the two, but I wish the match was a little longer. But Jade was the obvious decision there, and I'm not surprised that she won. Her and Tiffany Stratton will have a good match going into SummerSlam. I just thought with the parallels right there, yeah, you can call it predictable or whatever, but I thought Jade Cargill, gave this opportunity to win and fight Tiffany. It's been the writing's on the wall on that. They've been interacting with each other for months, so I knew that was going to happen. And then Asuka just came back, so her losing to Jade Cargill is not going to affect her stock anyway. So that was my thoughts on that. And then we had Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa for U.S. Championship. I did not forget about that. That was a good match, and Solo became the U.S. champion thanks to the debut of Hikuleo, or Tala Tonga. That's going to be something to remember. I don't know. I'm kind of like 50-50 if I put Tala Tonga in the transcript, just so I don't confuse people. Like, I just want to put Hikuleo there so people don't get confused. But anyways, we got Hikuleo and Tama. Here we go. We had Hikuleo make his debut, and we had Tangaloa coming back from injury. So Solo's got his crew back, and it's good to see. Solo's been putting on some good TV. I've said it countless times that people need to put respect on Solo Sikoa's name, and I thought it was the right call for him to win the title as well. So Jacob's going to need some reinforcements. Obviously, he's already hooked up with Big Jim, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I thought some good business was done on both ends. I don't think Jacob losing the U.S. title to Solo affects his stock at all. The fact that 4 people need to take down one Jacob Fatu tells you how much they feel about the guy, so I wouldn't even worry about that. And then when it came to Punk and Cena, this one was interesting for me because seeing the discourse about it after the match went off the air, I know the crowd loved it. As I was transcribing the show, the energy was there. The commentators, I could tell, loved it. I loved the match. Some of my colleagues loved the match. And then, again, the usual suspects show up. Oh, now there's too many run-ins in matches. So it's only a WWE problem where we have run-ins during main events. But hey, we'll put a blind eye to that Texas Death Match that's coming up at Globe Life Field next Saturday at All In, right? We're just going to put a blind eye to that, or run-ins for the Young Cucks and Will Ospreay and Swerve. And are you guys catching on to these double standards now? These people that have agendas towards certain companies, but hey, we'll be that Men in Black gif where we'll just put that little laser in front of your eye and pretend that nothing else happens at the other place. All right. We can play the double standard game. I like to hold people accountable, and that's my role in the wrestling media. Is to hold people accountable, and you have no leg to stand on if you're bitching about run-ins. At least the run-ins in these matches with what happened on Saturday made sense. Seth Rollins is the Money in the Bank contract holder. He can come out whenever he damn pleases. And he even said on Raw that as long as he has breath under his lungs, he is not going to allow CM Punk to be a world champion in the company. So him and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman coming out made sense. Sami Zayn, a friend and ally of CM Punk, made sense. Penta, who Rollins told him on the previous Monday Night Raw beforehand to stay out of his way, made sense. So, you have no leg to stand on when it comes to these silly arguments. It didn't take away my enjoyment for the match because I knew there wasn't going to be a straight-up finish with Punk and Cena because that's not the story that they were telling. This is a totally different match than what they had at Money in the Bank 2011 or the one that they had in Boston for Night of Champions 2012 or the one that they had at SummerSlam or the one that they had in Houston for that Raw in 2013. It was a completely different story. You guys really think that there was going to be a clean finish with CM Punk and John Cena or any future Punk title matches as long as this feud with him and Seth Rollins keeps going? So I don't get where the confusion is coming from here. All of that made sense. Oh, they're recreating WrestleMania 40, working, the Avengers Endgame scene, right? Oh, God, man. I wonder, if people actually listen to the shit that comes out of their mouths sometimes when they're recording these shows. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, though. I would give a shout out to Gunther, man. That guy's been cutting out some good promos on Raw these past couple weeks. You guys know how I feel about Goldberg. I have respect for that man. The guy deserves to go out the way he wants to go out. I'm sure that Goldberg will be on Raw on Monday. We got Saturday night's main event around the corner. Curious to see how that one's going to go. Going back to Punk and Cena really quick, I really did appreciate the callback sequences that they had from their match for Money to Make 2011 because I was at that show. We have these moments in our life where we find a particular moment where it's like, all right, this is what I want to do in my life. For me, that moment for me was CM Punk and John Cena was the moment that I knew that I wanted to be a commentator doing something in the wrestling business. It was that match. So this one was sentimental to me. Okay, to transcribe that match. I loved it. I loved the pipe bomb. I had a blast laughing and transcribing Punk trying to be John Cena's basic Thuganomics character on SmackDown last week. We're not taking the opportunity to appreciate what we have in front of us because John Cena is not going to be here. He is retiring. And knowing John Cena, the way he carries himself, he's going to stick to his word. So all of y'all can tie yourself in knots and do these mental gymnastics about how you would have done your fancy booking of his retirement tour. Appreciate what the guy's fucking doing for you. And I don't get it, man. You wasted half a year fucking pining and moaning about his booking for his retirement tour instead of watching what the guy's been doing. Because he's actually been doing a lot of good stuff this year. But y'all still want to talk about the freaking Rock in July. Like, what are we doing here? No, the story of the match is not Cody Rhodes fighting The Rock. Cody was not putting his freaking title on the line at WrestleMania against Rock. He was putting the title on the line against John Cena, the match he wanted the entire time. And guess what? John Cena used to his advantage that Cody was a good guy, and he took advantage of the opportunity to get his 17th championship. That was the story. We also want to talk about The Rock. Oh, The Rock didn't show up. The Rock didn't show up. The Rock didn't show up. Okay, if The Rock won the Royal Rumble or was the number one contender, then I would get it. But Cody was never defending the freaking title against The Rock in the first place. So they're like, oh, the WrestleMania build was horrible because The Rock wasn't involved. Who was fighting who for the title? Who's this year about? This year was not supposed to be about The Rock. It's about freaking John Cena in his last year. Oh my God, man. Anyways, man. We have Evolution coming up on Sunday, July 13th from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. That'll be next Sunday as I'm recording this here. Gonna be a busy wrestling weekend. Got Great American Bash and Saturday Night's main event on the same night on next Saturday. And then Evolution's that Sunday. That's going to be a long week. I haven't had 6 days a week of the articles since probably Mania. Yeah, I think so. Probably Mania or some other show that I did beforehand, but let's take a look at matches for Evolution coming up on next Sunday for the stuff that has been announced already. Right now we have Jacy Jayne putting her NXT Women's Championship on the line against Jordan Grace. Io Sky putting her Women's World Championship on the line against Rhea Ripley. We have a Fatal 4-Way match for the Women's Tag Team titles. We have Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez representing the Judgment Day. By the way, congratulations to the Judgment Day becoming the new World Tag Team Champions. A very good match with the New Day, so I want to give props to those guys. They're taking on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and a tag team from Raw and a tag team from NXT. So that's pretty cool. We have Battle Royal. The winner of that match will get a Women's Championship match at Clash in Paris August is going to be a very busy month for myself too, because we got the 2-night SummerSlam, and then we got Clash in Paris as well. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop NXT Heatwave attached to that as well. So August is going to be awesome for me from a ROI standpoint. But and then we have Tiffany Stratton against Trish Stratus for the Women's Championship. So those are the matches announced so far for Evolution. More to be announced as we get closer and closer to that PLE. What else did I want to mention real quick before we get to the questions? Great American Bash, because that is coming up soon. Lots of coming up. I think they're got that Slammiversary show at the UBS Arena. Oh, by the way, for Saturday night's main event next Saturday, like I mentioned, as Goldberg's retirement match, as Gunther put his World Heavyweight Championship on the line against Goldberg. LA Knight against Seth Rollins was made official on Monday, so that was pretty cool. That segment they had Punk, Gunther, Rollins, and Knight. I enjoyed that a lot. Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton was just announced for that event as well. So some heavy hitters on this Saturday night's main event. I'm looking forward to it. And then the Great American Bash. That's going to be taking place at Center Stage, a place that was hosted a lot of places in WCW. Here's some of the matches that are announced for that card. For the Women's North American Championship, Sol Ruka's taking on Izzy Dame. That's going to be a very good match between two pretty hot women. Speaking of hot women, we got Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe taking on Fatal Influences, JC Jane and Fallon Henley. That's going to be a good match. We're having a contract signing for the TNA Slammiversary main event with Trick Williams, Joe Henry, and Mike Santana. Oba Femi will be putting his NXT Championship on line against Yoshiki Inamura. That's going to be a physical barn burner. I'm looking forward to that. So that is NXT Great American Bash. On that note, that is what happened this week in WWE. When we come back, we'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 472 of the podcast at Hoots. We'll be right back. Alright guys, one last segment to do here for the podcast this week. It's time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. As always, we throw up the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta at XTZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Just 1 second here. Let me get a full screen version of this thingy here. Alright, here you go. Got it right here. This is Chris, by the way. XTZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. What up, Oos? Here's the questions for the Q&A this week. Who do you think the three teams will be that face Roxanne and Raquel for the women's tag team titles at Evolution? Well, I'm going to go with... On Raw will be the Bella Twins. On NXT will be... I think for NXT it's probably going to be Fatal Influence. So probably like Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix. You know, I probably think it'd be those two. Did you catch the Hardys interview with Ariel Helwani? Yes, I did. It was a very good interview. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys should go check it out. I thought it was good. Will Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross battle it out for the rest of the summer? Yes. I believe they'll have a match at SummerSlam too. I do. I think they'll have a match at SummerSlam, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, Sammy and Kross are far from over. After 300 episodes of Dynamite, any favorite past episodes or all the same to you? Oh man, ain't that the $1 million question, man? That's a good one, Chris. That's a good one, man. I'm probably say 97% of it has been all the same, of it being a dirt sheet vanity project, but my specific ones that stand out to me, obviously the Brody Lee tribute show is my personal favorite show that AEW's done. I also enjoyed the one that I attended back in that February where it was like 5 feet of snow and that was a crazy day. I went to the very first Punk and MJF match. I know a lot of people love the dog collar match, but for me, from a purist standpoint, I really enjoyed the first match that they had in person on TV. That match was fantastic. So those are the two that really stand out the most to me. Will TJ Watt be wearing a different jersey suit? God, I hope so. I do. Ryan Poles, get your ass on that phone and get TJ Watt. TJ Watt. get her done. Thoughts on Cedric Alexander joining TNA? Good for him. I think that's awesome. He's very good, and I think Cedric and TNA is a better fit with him in that roster, to be honest with you. He's going to get a clean slate and a free opportunity, and he's not going to be lost in the shuffle, so I'm happy for him. I think he made the right decision. What do you think of Dijak and Corbin's team in MLW? Do you think it was ever in the cards in WWE? I haven't got a chance to see them work together as a tag team in MLW. I just haven't had a chance to cover the MLW shows since that was not taken away from me, but when I got furloughed, prior to that, I was doing like NWA and MLW and et cetera, and since I got back to the site, they haven't allowed me to do the shows, so I had a chance to see it. I'm sure they're a great tag team. I've been a fan of both guys for years, and I have no doubt that they would be a good tag team, and if they decide to be a tag team and come back to WWE as their tag team, I think that'd be cool too. Do you think we'll see one more match with Stone Cold, or is it not really necessary? I don't know. That's 50-50 to me. Like I was very fortunate enough to be there in Dallas for Stone Cold's match with Kevin Owens and how that went down at WrestleMania 38. I don't know if you're going to exceed that, but if you want one like super legitimate, like serious one-on-one match, and that's it for him, who am I to say no to that? He deserves to go out the way he wants to go out. If he really feels like he has one in him, and it's not like, oh, we'll do a talking segment going into a match, then if he really wants to do a one-on-one match at WrestleMania in Vegas next year, and he wants to ride off the sunset, he has every right to do that. So, I think we will. Is it not necessary? That's not for me to say. Your thoughts on the Britt Baker situation? Again, people in the wrestling media like to choose who gets treated right and who doesn't get treated properly in these wrestling promotions. That girl's too damn talented on the microphone and in the ring to be sitting on her ass for almost a year now. For whatever reason, backstage problems, etc., that girl's too talented to be on the sidelines, and she can't get out of that slop job quick enough, to be honest with you. When do you think we'll actually see Zilla Fatu in WWE? Not anytime soon. I know he's doing good stuff in the indies, but there's still more time. I'll probably give it another 2 years or so. Excuse me. We know the recent added history and tie-ins between Sammy, Seth, Cross, and Sammy have had a lot of run-ins in recent months as well. Is Cross on his own here, or possibly something with Seth and Heyman? I don't know if Cross is going to be attached to that group, nor do I think he needs to be in that group, to be honest with you. I just know, I know the coincidence is there that they're all feuding with each other at the same time, but I don't think Cross needs to be in that group. And I do think the end game will probably be Sami Zayn against Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania next year in New Orleans. I can definitely see that happening. But no, I don't see Cross joining that group. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it happening. But I want to thank you, Chris, for the questions this week, as always. Our next set of questions come from the good brother Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve. He says, "What up, Boost? I hope you're enjoying all the good wrestling and sports going on right now. Here's some questions for the back porch. How surprised were you when you saw El Grande Yerpiro with Kaiser behind the mask on Monday?" I wouldn't say I was surprised, but it did pop me. I thought it was hilarious, to be honest with you. I digged it. We know what we're watching with that gimmick, but how will we find out El Grande Americano's identity? Maybe a mask versus mask match with Penta and SummerSlam? Possibly. I don't know how long Chad Gable's going to be out. I know they just said that he had surgery, so we wish Gable a speedy recovery. But I don't know how long he's going to be out of action. To be honest with you, I have no idea. What do you think of Saudi Arabia getting Royal Rumble and possibly Survivor Series next year? Will they get Saudi Mania before another country gets the big one again? I'll wait till that moment gets announced. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. Honestly, I think it's cool that they're getting the Royal Rumble. Will they get Survivor Series or WrestleMania? I'm sure they will, but is it anytime soon before London or any other foreign country? Other countries that are not the United States? I'm not sure. I don't have the answer to that yet, to be honest with you. I just don't. Do you feel like the tag division is dead in WWE or just in need of bigger storylines? Well, I don't think that it's dead because the SmackDown tag team division is damn good. It's actually one of the best tag team divisions in all of wrestling. On the Raw side, that they have tag teams, but they don't put them in any feuds. It's just matches. They don't give these tag teams any purpose for the crowd to connect them. So really, it's an issue on Monday Night Raw. Don't get me wrong, I love the match with New Day and Judgment Day, but the Raw tag team division has been next to non-existent. The crowds sit on their hands until they get to the false finish parts of the match, and the reason for that because they don't allow these tag teams to get to actual storylines for each other. We don't get promo segments in the ring with these tag teams. It's just not a point of emphasis on Raw, but that should not say that WWE itself doesn't care about tag teams because SmackDown tag team division is actually really damn good. On a scale of 1 to 10, how did CM Punk do with the Dr. Dunganomics promo? I give it an 8. Good question, Mike. I'm going to go with a 9. I'll go with a 9. Also, does that rank all time with some of the best parodies of other wrestlers? Yes. Definitely one of the funniest parodies that I've seen in a while, for sure. What was your reaction when SmackDown was delayed because a camel chewed a TV wire? Well, I wasn't watching the show live because I'm not a spoiler person, but I did see that post about a camel buying a wire. It is what it is. That's all I can say about it. It is what it is. What is the match you would add to Evolution card even if it was a longer show? Great question. That is a very good question. Honestly, I'm pretty sure they'll add Becky against Bayley and Lara Valkyria in the triple threat match. I'm pretty certain that's definitely going to happen. That's $1 million question there, because are we putting every single title on the line for both the main roster and NXT? Alright, let's say Julia, for example, right? Julia fights somebody from NXT, or Julia fights somebody from Raw. Well, that's the thing. The thing that gets in the way of this now is the Battle Royal. So again, I'm not saying that Julia should not be able to defend her title at Evolution. I think she should, but we have the Battle Royal now, and Stephanie Vancouver said that she's participating in the Battle Royal. So we had two different masters there. I would like to see the Women's North American Championship defended on that show. So, like that Fatal 4-Way that I posed a while ago of, hell, you could redo that 4-Way that they had at what was that NXT show that I did last? Battleground with Soruka, Zarya, Kalani Jordan. Jada Parker, I think that'd be pretty cool, but we'll have to see how that plays out. It's a lot of scenarios to sit there, but it's a good question. Do you think Trick Williams keeps the TNA Championship for a months-long reign? No, I think Trick probably loses the title at Slammiversary. I do think that happens. What's a more surprising decision? The Knicks interviewing the coach they just fired, Tom Thibodeau, or interviewing Dawn Staley out of nowhere? I don't know what the Knicks are doing, to be honest with you. They're a dumpster fire. Hey, Jalen Brunson, if you want to come back home to Chicago, we appreciate it. The Bulls need some help. What do you think of Kevin Durant joining my Houston Rockets? Is this team a contender next year? I'm happy for KD. I think Houston's going to be a good team this next season. Are they going to be title contenders? I'm in a wait-and-see type of mode when it comes to that, but they do have a good squad, so I think they'll be a formidable opponent next season. Do you have any plans for the 4th of July? I feel like a lot of people are just kind of having a regular day, nothing big. It's Friday after all. No, not necessarily for me. I'm going to be covering SmackDown tonight, so I'm just treating today like a regular day. It really doesn't mean much to me. I know there's some people that are going to be coming to the house later today, but yeah, 4th of July say means next to nothing to me, so it's just another day. What do you think of three WNBA teams joining the league next year? Will that make the league more or less competitive? I think it'll make it more competitive, but again, you're asking the wrong person here because I don't watch the WNBA. I just don't have the time to watch it. I'm not against it. I'm all for women's sports, but I don't have the time to watch it, honestly. One player is in your city and the other is the all-star team captain. So if you're starting a WNBA team, would you pick Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark? I'll be biased. I'll go with Angel Reese because she's from Chicago. Again, I have absolutely nothing I know nothing about the WNBA. What WNBA player would you give the Shaq? I wasn't familiar with the game meme. I would say Camila Cardozo from the Chicago Sky. Sorry, man. I hate to be a broken record. I don't know about the WNBA. I can't answer that. Well, it's July, and the Astros, who have like 8 injuries now, have a 7-game division lead. Is this team kind of inevitable? I'm surprised this season. Well, I think a lot of credit goes down to whoever the front office is in Houston. To have that stability of having, there's been a couple down years from the last championship that they had, but, when you have, I'll say one thing that has always come to the Astros' advantage over the years is that ballpark. They've always had a really strong home field advantage regardless of what their roster was. But when you have a guy like Yordan Alvarez, who's just always like 2 seconds away from hitting a home run, it's difficult. And they have a strong home field advantage, so I'm never really surprised when the Astros are in it. They're a good squad this year. So they have a front office that's allowed to have the team have sustained stability, and you don't find that in a lot of cities. So I think that's pretty cool. Last question is on. I know, so the Florida era is on for you, but with that, what do you think of Alligator Alcatraz, the new immigrant detention center / camp surrounded by alligators in Florida? Well, that's all for now. I hope you enjoy 4th of July weekend and the freedoms we still enjoy. Take care. I heard about that. I don't have any personal feelings about it myself. It is kind of strange that they're having a Alcatraz alligator edition, but I don't look into stuff that I don't find myself putting myself in the position to worry about those type of things. That's just the type of person I am, so it's like, I'm never going to be associated with that, so why would I worry about that, you know? Them having an Alcatraz alligator center is not going to prevent me from moving to Florida, is all I can say about that. But I want to thank Mike and Chris for the great questions this week. As always, make sure to follow Chris on Twitter at XC's24X on the Twitter machine. Make sure to follow Mike on Twitter if you like, at Main Event Swerve. I'm at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to follow me on Instagram if you like, at Joshie Lopez Music. Please do us a favor if you're watching us or listening to us on YouTube. Make sure to hit and like this. Hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That way we can become a partner on YouTube. We're currently at 555. Any help would definitely be appreciated for all of us here on the podcast. But on that note, we're going to put a ribbon in the bow on this week's edition of the Hoots Podcast. Hope you guys have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the face of your life but yourself. And the man upstairs, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 472 of the Hoots Podcast. We go down from 28 to 27. So the countdown to 500 continues. Next week's episode should be a fun one because we'll be doing our preview predictions for Evolution. We got Saturday Night's Main Event. We got Great American Bash. Next weekend is going to be a very, very busy weekend for your boy, and I can't wait for it to get here. So, for everybody, for Mike and Chris, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 472 of the Hoots Podcast. Love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.